James is the most recognizable character in the Thomas & Friends universe, and honestly, he's one of my favorites. I thought it would be fun to explore the rich history of a fictional steam engine, so let's jump into it. James first appeared in the 1946 book Thomas the Tank Engine in the story Thomas and the Breakdown Train. He was a character that Thomas rescued. He was painted black, and little was known about his character until he got his own book in 1948. He was named after a friend of the publisher's son. At the publisher's request, his color was changed to red. Looking back at this decision now, I feel like that James wouldn't be as iconic if he wasn't painted red. In the book series, James would learn how to be a really useful engine, just like Thomas, through trials and tribulations until eventually mastering what it meant to be a really useful engine. When Britt Allcroft made the Railway series into a TV show, a Gauge 1 model of James was hand-built for the model series, along with 19 different face masks. This model would be used from 1989 until 2006 when it was replaced by a brass model powered by a DC motor. By this time, the original Perspex model was 22 years old and the new model meant less time for repairs on a tighter filming schedule. James's brass model is now on display at the Hara Model Railway Museum in Japan, while the Perspex model is owned by Twitter user Thomas Tank Merch. These models create nostalgia for Thomas fans everywhere. And to many, it is the definitive version of James. Thomas & Friends ditched the models and turned to CGI in 2009 by Nitrogen Studios. James gained a larger size, new face, and his own voice. For the US dub, Carrie Shale would voice James from 2009 to 2015, and Rob Rackshaw from 2015 to 2020.
You? What's so special about you?
In my opinion, Shale supplied the best voice for James. His pompous tone and timing embodies his conceited character well. Here's a comparison for you to decide.
Did you know I am the brightest red engine on the whole island of Sodor?
I could see that.
You could travel for miles around and not find a better engine than me.
Oh, wait. You must mean that very important goods train that's bound for the mainland.
There's also the UK version, but it's too high-pitched.
I saw it! Oh!
I saw it! Oh!
During the CGI series, the writers would put James in more action-packed roles, making him a more prominent character, in movies like Tale of the Brave and Journey Beyond Sodor.
James! Oh, so there you are! What do you think you've been playing at?
James, keep your voice down.
First, you take my cars to the mainland, and...
I'll explain later, James. We really need to go.
Oh, I'm more than ready to go.
James.
In fact, I'd already decided that I was just going to do this one job.
It doesn't work like that, James. Frankie and Hurricane won't let you leave.
Oh, we can't just let you leave!
You're our favorite new engine!
Leave me alone!
But what about this character's origin story? What engine is he based on? Let's find out. The engine that James is based on is an LNYR Class 28 that was designed by engineer George Hughes. It was a rebuild of John Aspinall's Class 27. These engines were similar to the Class 27, but with larger cylinders and a superheater. These engines were built at the Horwick Works in England between the years of 1909 and 1922, and they ceased operation in the late 1940s. Creator of Thomas the Tank Engine, the Reverend W. Audrey, would create a technical background for James. It can be read in his rare book, Sodor, Its People, History, and Railways. But in Sodor, reading between the lines by his son Christopher Audrey, it's pretty much the same text, so we'll just read it from there. In 1912/13, George Hughes of the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway built a class of 060 tender engines for general mixed traffic use. It was found that when running at speed, As they had, of course, to do on passenger duties, they became nose-heavy. Hughes experimented by providing one of the engines with a pony truck, but the experiment was not a success. In 1923, the LMS sold the engine to the Northwestern Railway. Crovansgate has solved many of the engine's inherited problems, including replacing the wooden brake blocks, with which James had been originally fitted. No locomotives of James's type survive. As you can see, the history of Thomas and the world that he inhabits is rich and full of lore. These two books that you can't buy on American soil prove that. And join me in later videos as I analyze them. James may not be the most dynamic character, but he is a fun character. One of the most recognizable engines on the island of Sodor. His likeness even earned a world record, being the largest model train ever built. And the Oigawa Railway in Japan created their own James. Sure, he is vain and pompous sometimes, but he is confident. Maybe that's why people like him. Maybe that's why I like him. Either way, he is one of the most famous red engines in the world. Hope you learned something new about James. Please subscribe to the channel. A lot of hard work was put into this video, and there will be more. So I'll see you guys next time.